Gardener Koo here with my little dragon Freya and, of course, little Nacho. And do you want some free plants? Do you want a lot of free plants? Well, this is a video for you. So the end of spring is my favorite time to take cuttings. All of the plants are pushing sugars up from their roots into their stems, and it just makes everything want to take. Trying to take cuttings in the fall is like a completely different experience. So first off, let's start with the biggest bit of BS out there, rooting hormone. Now they claim that it has hormones that help the cuttings shoot out roots faster and take better. It is lies, utter lies. They have maybe 8 hormones in rooting hormone, and each species of plant is different. So do you know how many hormones that is? It is just sheer stupidity. But does rooting hormone work? Yes. Want to know why? They put a fungicide in it. That's it. Full stop. There's a fungicide. So just save money and buy a more versatile product. And I use atomized sulfur. This stuff works great. Okay, rant over. Sorry. Let's get back to making the cuttings. All right, so to make a cutting, you want to find a branch with at least 4 nodes. That's spots where leaves are coming off. And you also want to make sure it's not soft. That's not good cutting material. So you want to strip all the leaves off except for from the bottom nodes, basically. And you just want to leave 2 or 3 leaves on the top. And then you're going to take your scissors and you're going to trim those down by 75%. Getting rid of these is a big way to make sure your cuttings survive because they're not transpiring water anymore. Cuttings don't have any roots, so all the water they're going to have, they have right now. For some plants with succulent stems like this one, that aren't desert succulents, like impatiens, begonias, I find it best to leave the cuttings out for 20 or so minutes before proceeding. If you're doing desert succulents, you should let them dry out for actually 4 or 5 days just in a dry spot. But after that, for desert succulents, you're done. You can plant them immediately anywhere you want, and 99% of the time they will take. But if you're doing cuttings from shrubs or trees, it's a little different. You want to get cuttings from semi-soft wood, which is basically last year's new growth. Not 2 years ago, not this year's. Annoying, right? Anyways, going back to this type of cutting, now it's time to deploy the sulfur. I pour some of my sulfur into a Tupperware container, and then I dip my cuttings in it. This will protect them from the nasty fungi and usually takes care of any lurking aphids. You may want to wear a mask when you're doing this. This stuff is really, really fine, and it can get into the air. So store the Tupperware in a dark spot because the sunlight actually deactivates it. Now, if you're wondering what else to do with the sulfur, I like to sprinkle it on my squash plants and my cucumber plants, really anything that gets downy or powdery mildew. I also use it twice a year on my ornamental bugleweed because they get terrible downy mildew. It'll protect plants from infection if you use it regularly, but you can also just use it as a treatment. That's usually what I do because I'm not always on it. After dunking your cutting After dunking your cutting in the sulfur, you want to then put it into pre-moistened potting soil. Make sure you get all 3 nodes into the soil. This will be the point of new root formations. And then you want to just firm the soil around the plant. So put your freshly made cuttings into a part shade location under a tree or a large bush. This gives them humidity they need as well as protecting them so they don't dry out. Honestly, I haven't had much luck with this method, but my girl in Karuja, she's in Atlanta and says it works well for her. I'm guessing it's because she, actually has heat. I think my secret weapon is the same as when I make seeds. It's heating mat, the dome of humidity, and LED lights. These things will really make your success rate go much higher. Just put the probe in and set the temperature to 75 degrees. Put the lights on a 14-hour timer, put the dome on, and you're good to go. You're done. Just check on the cuttings over the next few weeks. Add water as needed. You want to make sure the soil is wet or moist, not wet. And as with seeds, you always want to water from the bottom. So a couple of weeks later, once they start growing some new seeds, you can take the dome of humidity off. And then you can grow them to whatever size you want for going into the garden. Don't forget to put a fan on them. This will help their stems get rigid and help prepare them for the real world. And finally, you have to harden them off before taking them outside, just like seeds. You do this by bringing the plants outside to a sheltered spot for 1 hour on day 1, 2 hours on day 2, and so forth until day 7. You can speed this up a lot if you live in like a mild climate like I do. I can cut a few days off. And that's it. This is a great way for you to make as many of your favorite plants as you like. I mean, free is good. If you thought this was helpful, please like and subscribe. I'm Gardener Koo. This is Nacho, my little Sharknado, and that was Freya. So go make some plants.